Hey, what's good? I'm randomly live. Not randomly. I told myself to go live on Thursdays, and it's Thursday. So I'm just keeping my word to myself. I'm about to sit on this live and vibe out. And if anybody pop in, if you would like some advice, or if you would like an opinion or perspective on something or anything, you can ask me anything. Ask me whatever you would like. I am here to answer your questions to the best of my ability. Now, I am going to be coming obviously with my perspective and my opinion, but I am very researched and versed in a myriad of things, okay, for a lot of different reasons. Some for certification, some just for leisure. So I am coming with and also through experience, okay? I know I might look young and just like vibrant because I am, but she done lived through some things, okay? So again, if you would like to ask me anything, ask me whatever you want. But I am going to be talking just about life and shit. Stuff that's been going on. It's currently April 6th, 2020. Don't mind this, okay? April 6th, 2023. It's full moon. It's the full moon in Libra today. And it's Aries season. The full moon is when the moon, that was zodiac perspective, the signs are opposite. But obviously, the full moon is when the moon is visible in the sky and it's its biggest and its brightest versus the new moon where you can't see the moon at all. So let me write this down first. Hold on. Uh, uh, Alch Est. Bam. Can you see this? Okay, I'm gonna be. Can you read that? TheHoodAlchemist.com. Bam. There we go. Okay. So again, I'm just about to be on here talking from my perspective. So this full moon is actually very significant for me. This is actually my moon. Um, if you're into astrology and all of that. And it's funny because I just recently had a conversation with someone. Well, I responded to somebody's stories, and they were pretty much talking about just how astrology, like when girls mention astrology or stuff like that, it's a red flag. And yeah, okay. But you know what? Actually, can I change the title? Maybe I want to call it Free Wisdom. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. I don't think I can. Nope. Okay. I don't think we can. Um, did I forget what I was saying? Let me just pause. It'll come back to me. Hmm. Okay, I was talking about the moon and its significance. So this full moon, okay, is very significant for me personally, okay, because according to the zodiac, and I was having a conversation with somebody about this. That's what I was talking about because they were talking about like astrology is a red flag, and if a girl or somebody's talking about astrology, that's a red flag, and I was just like, why is that a red flag? But they were pretty much like, because it's silly to judge somebody based on if they're a Gemini, and astrology is not real. And so then my pushback was, okay, I do think it is silly to judge people based on whether or not they're a Gemini or a Sag or whatever. I agreed with them on that, but I was like, but you do realize astrology is a science, and astrology and the zodiac are not the same thing. They're separate things that are, you know, entwined with each other. And more so, the zodiac is entwined with astrology because the astrology came first. And astrology is an actual science because astrology is not fucking Gemini, Aries, those energy. Astrology is the actual mathematical points and angles. It's actually the patterns and the movements of the celestial bodies. So astrology is real. Like, you don't have to agree with astrology for it to be real. Like nobody says like fucking like geometry isn't real, because it's a science, it's math. It just is. Now the zodiac, that's something that was created, I think during the what is it, the Hellenistic time, or like that time period. Like that's some shit that was created to expand upon the fucking like astrology and gave it more personality, and so and also the zodiac, there's still leverage to it, but it is based on people's interpretations, so I brought that up to the person though, and the person pretty much just was like, they refused to hear it. Like they just was like, you're just arguing with me. And I was like, bro, I'm not arguing with you, I'm correcting you, and you're being corrected and you just don't want to. They're like, come with facts. I'm like, nigga, that was an actual fact. That was very well thought out facts, actually, but the fact that people be so ready to just be mad about shit they actually don't know nothing about all the time, that's the culture we live in. And it don't make me sad. It kind of is a little goofy and silly to me. um Also, if you're tapping into this live, I'm just sharing about just what's been going on with me, just what I've been seeing, what's shit I feel like I should also share. But also, if there's anything that you would like to ask, or if there's any like thing that you want to know, or even if you want some advice about some stuff that's going on in your life, anything, just drop a comment and I will respond. If you're not familiar with me, I'm an artist, but I also am a medicine woman and a teacher and coach. So I, I'm just studied and I just know a lot. I'm a doula. I just got a lot of experiences in different things. So if you need to talk or want to talk, just let me know. But if not, Logan, it's my cat. But if not, I'm gonna just keep going with what I'm going with. So pretty much astrology, everybody uses it in their own different way, but most people really don't be tapped in. And so I say all that to say this is a full moon right now. It's a full moon in Libra, and we're in Aries season, and those are like opposing energies and opposing signs, but they also are the aspect of the chart and of the energies that represents your individual self and your connection and your partnerships with others. It represents your some Mars represents like your impulse, your urge, your sexual energy, your creative energy alone, like what it is by itself when it's just you. When you merge it with others, that's when you get the Scorpio aspect of Mars in intimacy. But the opposite energy of Aries is Libra, and Libra is Venus. And Mars and Venus actually they be fucking with each other the long way. They really fuck with each other. Um, but also they just sometimes they just be a little too turned. It's funny because people look at Libra as a like Libras are about fairness and justice. So if a Libra really get turned, it usually is because shit is weird. Because most times they try their hardest to not really act on the energy, to be more compassionate, to empathize. Which is, people describe Aries as the opposite. Aries is more just gonna go for what it's feeling and for what it needs, and so but it's also again that aspect of what you do for yourself, who you are by yourself, and what you do for others, who you are with others, the aspect of how much of my life is focused on just me and how much of my life is focused on others. And we are being called to like really reevaluate that right now in our lives, to really like really get clear on how we have our own relationship with ourselves, but also how we have our relationship with others. And not just how we have them, but the courage. Like, because also Aries energy represents courage, okay? That's just pure courage, swagger, audacity, okay? Like, and think about it in like a child, like think about babies, like even when a baby reaches their terrible twos, that's when they get into their Mars energy. They have their first Mars return. And that's when babies get fearless, they get defiant, they want to jump off shit. They just, everything is possible, okay? And you can't really tell them. And if you tell them no, you probably ain't gonna hear the last of it, you know? And that's Aries energy, because it's like, what do you mean I can't do this? And also the energy of I have to figure out for myself. You can't teach me how to get up when I fall. I gotta fall and get up. And you could be there to either encourage me or to like notice how I need to whatever, but like you can't physically get up for me. You can't physically, you know, and that drive comes from that Aries energy. And then applying that to other people comes from the Libra aspect. You know, so right now it really is about like, damn, you know, and let me tell you how real astrology be. Okay, let me just tell you, because this is why, and this is just why I've like spent the past decade at this point, like really immersed in the study and practice of this, like down to just my everyday life and how I utilize just everything, to be honest. Like, man. But so you, I don't know how familiar y'all are with y'all's charts. You know, obviously, if y'all tapping into me, I would think y'all would be a little bit, but you never know. So, and also, you might have just met me. So, hey, cousin. But so you got your sun sign, you got your moon sign, you got your Venus sign. You have an energy that represents each planet in the zodiac. And so you have your rising sign, and the rising is a point, you know, versus being a planet or something. You know, it's essentially like the horizon, like the high, like the horizon in the chart at that time. So, your rising sign sets up the tone for your whole life, and you have to know what time you're born to know your rising sign. Like it's very, it's a signature to you, you know, and everybody's chart, no matter how similar it is going to be, have its own just way of like vibrating. But your rising sign, like I said, determines, you have 12 houses in the birth chart. Okay, it's a circle, look like a pie or a pizza, like sliced, you know, like divided into triangular slices. And there's 12 slices, okay? And so each slice represents a house, okay? And so in order to determine, you automatically can know like the first seven houses, six, seven houses. But if you don't know your rising sign, you won't know the ones after that. That's kind of how it's set up. Um, so you have to know what time you were born, or you don't get the full chart. So that's why it's important to know that. But your rising sign, I'm also saying that because this is significant to know how much the rising sign affects just your chart. And I'm saying that also because it goes into my story. So my rising sign is in the sign of Aquarius, okay? And Aquarius energy is very significant in my life. The rising sign, they often say, will also kind of give the father's energy in some ways, in some of the Vedic astrology that I've studied. It says that your father, you could tell the father's influenced by the rising sign, a lot of times. But also because traditionally, you know, think about it, your father's energy sets the tone, you know, for the family, you know. Um, and I don't mean, we know that like in tribal and real tribal shit, the matriarchal societies, like it's like obviously the mother sets the tone for your inner world. But even thinking about the birth chart, it's like the father sets the tone for your image and your reputation and that aspect of you. So that's why that rising sign energy is very significant. Now, what is the significance and also just the fucking magic of mother loving astrology? Okay, this is why I just be like, bro, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay, you just can't. Um, but astrology, my rising sign is in Aquarius. My dad just so happened to be in Aquarius. You know, not everybody shit is like that, but sometimes it really is just that. And even if it's not the direct sign, it be little shit that's like, oh wow, somehow it still resonated, you know. Also, if you're digging this information, like the video, share the video, invite a friend, or subscribe if you ain't subscribed yet. But okay, so my rising sign's in Aquarius. My father just so happens to be in Aquarius, right? And I was saying that the father's energy normally sets up the tone of like the reputation of your life or just that aspect of your life. And so my father plays a significant role in my life, okay? Now, my father. Okay, so also when you have your planets, you have like the sun, you have the moon, they're at certain degrees or certain numbers. So you could have your sun at 17 degrees of Leo, or you could have your moon at 6 degrees of Capricorn. So even your rising sign, everything has a degree. My rising sign is at, well, not my rising sign, but my moon sign, which your moon is your emotions. And right now the moon is in Libra. My moon is in Libra. My moon is at 10 degrees of Libra, okay? And I'm only using this as like a basic just example. But the moon represents your emotions, okay? In some stuff that I've studied and also in the way I've looked at charts, degrees in your chart can often show you like ages or time frames when stuff might have happened to you. You get what I'm saying? So like you having your sun sign at like 12 degrees of an energy can, maybe something happened when you were 12, or maybe something happened when you were in the 12th grade. Like sometimes little shit like that be like just lining up, and I think it's divine. I think it all, like, it makes sense in its own purpose. So like I was saying, I have my rising sign in Aquarius, and my my father was an Aquarius, okay? When I was 10, at the age of my moon sign, okay, my father passed away, okay, which set the tone for the rest of my life. Even with the rising sign and the father's energy setting the tone for the rest of your life. Even if, to use just a random example, not me, like say a person could grow up with a father who was kind of like a rolling stone, traveled a lot, wasn't really around. They might have a Sag rising, which, but Sag energy represents, but also a father who is like just strong in their beliefs, just kind of fixed and centered. So then the person can be born to have a Sag rising, and Sag energy represents all of those things I just represented. And so it's like those themes will show up in your life, even the types of people you attract, the types of men you attract. So my moon sign being at 10 degrees of Libra, and I had a major emotional trauma. My biggest emotional trauma that formed most of my life happened to me at 10 years old. And my moon sign is in Libra, and having Libra rules relationships, partnerships, even like marriage and how you look at shit like that. And I feel like losing my father at such a young age shaped and defined all of that. And then thinking about Aquarius energy is very like unconventional. It's kind of rebellious. It's kind of isolating. It's kind of, people say it's like detached, but Aquarius energy is very isolating. It's a very advanced. It's like Aquarius energy be ahead of itself. So trying to figure out how to like navigate like being ahead, and sometimes not even always being present to the fact that you are, but also when you are, learning how to navigate that, like with other people. Shit is interesting, but also kind of being different or alienated or just, you know, um, there's a lot of things I could think of. But whenever I'm talking about myself, my brain be wanting to act like it don't work because I just be like, oh my God, it's me I'm talking about. But anyway, so y'all picking up what I'm putting down. I see some people lingering, but leave a comment if you tapping in, or like the video if you feel like, helping your girl out. Anyway, so major trauma happened, 10 years old, lose my dad. That sets the tone, shapes the rest of my life. But also, how else does my Aquarius rising like shape the rest of my life? Out of all my grandparents that I've ever had, or I've never had any, only grandparent I ever had was my dad's mother. And so even with my father dying when I was 10, his family was kind of like the major presence in my life, but it showed up in a very unconventional and like different ways, which goes back to Aquarius energy. And so for me, bringing it all back around, even while I'm bringing up this stuff, I've been on a very interesting like journey. Okay, what I also didn't mention was when my dad died. My dad literally died a week from my birthday, so literally 7 days from the day, like a literal week. So that also was always a thing that kind of just like his death always has been a big play. Just it's always just echoed everything. It's always been there. Um, and so this full moon happens to be a Libra full moon, which is my full moon. Not every time will your birthday land on a full moon. Especially if you're not a person born with that type of energy. Like if you're Aries, but your moon sign is in Gemini. You're not going to have a full moon birthday or have a, or just even have the energy close all the time to your birthday. So my today is the Libra full moon, but today also happens to be the 1 week from my birthday. So today is my dad's death anniversary. But it's also a day that for me has been very just him aside. I feel like the fact that this full moon landed after my birthday and I've had time to just sit with the energies and sit with myself and even thinking about the emotional healing that I need to do, even around relationships and my connection to um I guess my value, and not that I don't have a sense of value, but even just like focusing too much on other people and not myself, like even from a place of just programming. That's what we're used to. That's what we're taught, even as women, as black people, as whatever. And I know that's not every black person's experience, and I know that's not every woman's experience, but I know from the place I come from, that's what was drilled into us, drilled into me. So even if it's the rebellion is always to spite whatever it is that we're trying to run from, and not just out of true rebellion. And even Aquarius energy is the rebellious energy. It's just the energy that dares to like not only question authority, because I think people think to question authority means to just go and like poke and antagonize, but I think true Aquarius energy has the audacity to become the authority. To just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna you know even thinking of how it's connected to Leo aspect, that's the other side, and that's the angle of the ego, or the axis of the ego. But I've just been really blown away with how much astrology, and not just astrology, but the alignment of everything. If I didn't know about astrology, there would still be a way that I would be able to see how all of this stuff is connected. How, you know, just even my beliefs, my life have been just set up by certain things. I could go into stuff about my mom, who's still with me, thank God. Um, I could go into stuff about her in my chart too. Like I could see both of my parents in my chart, but I do see the ways my dad has played a significant and still plays a significant role and will always play a significant role in my life and how things are brought to me. And I love seeing that in the birth chart, and I love reading other people's charts so I can see how the dynamics and just patterns play out. It's just very significant. This full moon for me, I don't know. Which y'all, I want to know what y'all are feeling. To be honest, that's why I said free advice. I kind of want to change the name, but I can't. Maybe I should have said free wisdom, or I don't know. That was the first thing my brain thought of, but maybe niggas don't want advice. That's okay too. But also maybe people don't know how to ask, for just help or insight, or even because I mean about anything. It can be deep, it can be whatever. But this full moon energy I know has been intense for a lot of people, because I don't think people, Libra energy also represents balance, so if it's not, I know for me, the way my Libra moon plays out is if there's not balance around me emotionally, like if there's not if there's conflict that isn't settled, I'm not settled. So I feel like this moon could be agitating and provoking, just that like something's not right, and like I need to get, air signs are also signs of communication, so bringing the Libra energy to the moon could be making people want to express more, even though you still don't want the conflict. You want there to be harmony. But it's still the need to be like, I got to get this out. And then with the sun being in Aries, what's gonna happen is whether you want to express it or not, it's gonna come out. Okay, but I do feel like the fact that Mercury is in Taurus along with Venus, it is gonna make people. I think people are gonna be a little more stubborn and stuck in their energy, just a little more fixed on like, what they feeling. But I feel like if you come at it the right way, because it's still Taurus energy. Taurus is the sign of indulgence and sensory and like pleasure. So it's like if you allow yourself to express from a place of just like, I don't even want to say love, I want to say like you gotta turn on that, like that. Venus makes me think of a southern lady. It's giving a southern lady because it's not quite Venus and Taurus with all of this stuff in the air, because it's not quite, it's that it's nice, but if I gotta be nasty, I'll be nasty, it's like that like a southern lady, just real like polite and whatever, but also like don't make me, you know so I just feel like the energy in the air right now probably is feeling those. I'm feeling those vibes. I also feel like there's emotions, but like not wanting to fall for the emotion because Mars is in Cancer. So it's like feeling the feelings, but not wanting to just get caught up in them. But also, you know, I'm not gonna lie, the Libra energy can't. I think it's just because there's so much Aries in the air. And I'm like, I feel like there's hope that niggas would speak up or say something. But the Libra energy and the Mars could make people just like stew in their feelings, you know? But I feel like that energy is here, not for niggas to stew, but for niggas to like really have the courage to like make something new with all the energy, all the Aries energy in the sky. To like really like be fearless and like even if other people aren't willing to like see or show up or be available to what's necessary to move forward or grow or evolve, to you still have the courage to do it and to allow your relationships to flow from a place of that, you know? But this has been an interesting moon for me. It feels good overall. I feel good overall, but I can feel that like energy of just being on the precipice. Is that the word? The precipice of just something, something's. And for me, it's been a lot of having to like be patient and to let myself really get clear and not get clear. Have the courage and the audacity to just take what's. I'm not gonna say take what's mine, but I'm gonna say to show up how I need me to, more than how someone else needs me to. But also to recognize if I'm doing that from a true and pure place or a place of fear and resistance and other things, Um, and I think that's what this moon is really calling for people and this energy, you know. And to be honest, it's not just this moon, it's this time. Because we are in a time more than ever where we need each other. We need ourselves, but we need each other. And we have to allow ourselves to open up. Whether we allow ourselves to open up to it or not, it's here and it's available. It's what the earth needs. So it's deeper and bigger than us. But we are definitely in that time. Definitely in that time. So, again, I just came on here because I wanted to share. But if any of this resonated with you, obviously I want you to drop what are we gonna drop for? I want you to drop a flower emoji, okay? Because it's Venus and Aries. Or Drop a flower emoji or a fire emoji if you ain't feeling flowery, okay? And if you're interested, tap in, okay? thehoodalchemist.com. Tap in because I got a 16% off on all sessions, all birth chart readings, all wellness consultations. I am a doula. I am a herbalist. I am a yoga teacher. I am a studied and trusted spiritual advisor and coach. So tap in. But again, I'm just on here talking, and I'm not just talking. I actually been spitting a lot of shit, but I was about to maybe hop off. But I'm also using this as a space for if anybody else wants some advice or need someone to talk to or just have anything you want to share. If you hopped on and you're interested, drop a comment below and we can chat it up. We can chat it up. But I've been talking about this full moon energy, and also today is the it's an anniversary of my father's passing. So I've just been reflecting on just how everything is aligned and how even when you don't have someone physically with you, you know, when you don't have someone present, or even when stuff don't look or feel the way you think it is, how still it's so much resource or it can have so much influence, you know. And it's like it's all about the perspective of how you want to see things, you know. My father died when I was 10. That was a long time ago. And I chose very early on to choose to not let it be a thing that I held on to for a negative reason. Obviously, I was very sad about it. I was so sad and so hurt. And now that I'm an adult, I'll allow myself to say how angry I was. And I wasn't just angry because he died. I was angry even for situations and circumstances surrounding how, you know, how it all happened and how the adults in my life chose to like handle it. I think that's where a lot of my anger came from, to be honest. But I chose early on to just be like, you know what? I can't miss something I don't have. So I'm going to be very appreciative and grateful for the time I did have with him, but not dwell on it and just appreciate that what I remembered of him like was good. You know, there was a lot of bad, there was a lot of, and there was stuff that came back to me as an adult that I didn't even remember. And some of that I'm still getting clear on because it's memories, you know. And so but even those things, you know, I've learned to forgive and to just really have to learn a different way of loving, you know. And so everything in our lives, every situation, from relationships to our relationships with our parents to our relationships with ourselves, you know, those are things that are constantly influencing us, you know, all the time. And I think that's the thing that we forget about relationships is like you can't throw them away. You can't get rid of them. Like relationships are always a part of you. They're always, you know, whether you want to be single or whether you want to be like a fucking island and don't talk to your family, like you're still relationships are still a big part of your life. Even going out of your way to not have relationships means that a lot of your life is consumed around relationships. Our relationships influence us, they affect us. Like, and I feel like people forget that. People act like people want to try so hard to act like that's not true instead of just owning how much they really crave deeper intimacy in relationships, not only with themselves but with others. And I don't think I think having a deeper relationship with yourself obviously makes it easier to have a deeper relationship with others, but whether one or the other should come first or is more important, I think that depends on the season of your life. I think that depends on your support system. I think that depends on a lot of things, you know? And so I just feel like in order for us to get clearer in our relationships, we have to get more honest about who the fuck we are in our relationships, okay? Like, and that's what I feel like this energy and this time right now, this time in life, this time in history, this time just in our culture is us having to really like see ourselves and to see, you know, the reflections we've called into our lives, to see the mirrors we've called into our lives, and to really stand and take accountability and to like not just take accountability, because I do believe in this culture we get so caught up on healing and we get so caught up on having to correct things and right wrongs that we don't realize the real work is in the being and the doing. You know, it's in the actions we take to really do something different. You know, we can spend all day analyzing our parents and talking about where we came from and what our ancestors did. But what are you doing now? And if what we're doing now is spending all our time talking about what the fuck was done then, oh my god. Like, no, you know? But I feel like that comes with people being vulnerable and people being open and people being real, you know? And I'm not gonna say that's not easy. I'm tired of people making it seem like it's hard to be real. It ain't hard. It take a lot of pressure. It take a lot of energy to be to just go along with to her mentality, you know, and it's so crazy in this society because people do that. Like people are addicted to that, you know. But now is the time to really allow yourself to do something different. That's what I'm saying to myself. I'm like, I'm rebirthed. Like, even if I gotta fucking fumble, scrape my knees up, whatever, get in there. Like, I didn't say it was gonna be easy. I'm being somebody I ain't never been before. I'm not saying that's gonna be easy. I'm not gonna say I'm always gonna know what to do. I'm not gonna say I'm always gonna feel good about it. I don't. You know, like I don't always got a fucking smile on my face when I'm trying to do this. You know, and sometimes the only way I can keep going is when those around me who are my reflections remind me and glimmer little pieces of me back to myself, you know? But the point is, it's like we got to really commit to actually allowing ourselves to be something we've never been before. That's what change is, you know, and most people fear change. And I've seen the fear of change have people just like frozen in the puddles. You ever seen a frozen puddle? Yeah, you done seen one before, but I'm just saying it's just stuck. It ain't going nowhere. And people don't even really want to come around it because you gonna fall. So not only is it stuck and ain't going nowhere, it's fucking lonely and cold unless you're a fucking Eskimo. I know I'm going. This it went too far, but we're here now. Okay. My point is, don't get caught up in that fucking trap. Okay. Change is the only way out. Okay. Think about a baby. I always go back to fucking. I'm a doula and I really am obsessed with like just childbirth and life, and I'm gonna catch the babies one day. I'm gonna be a midwife one day, okay? And God gonna initiate me. God been initiate me. But when a baby, you don't think being born is if you do you not think being born is scary? Okay. Imagine just living in a fucking sack of water for 9 months. Imagine it because you didn't did it before. You was there. That's how you got here, okay? And then one day a fucking earthquake happens and squeezes you out of a little fucking tunnel. Talking about I seen the light, nigga, you already died and came back. Your head got squished between a tunnel. What? Shit is crazy. It's really crazy if you think about it. But also, like, you don't think that's scary? But I feel like that's life. That's it. If a baby refused, if a baby imagine if babies just started protesting, like, I don't want to do that. No, I'm staying in here. Like, imagine. So I just don't understand how we get out of the fucking womb with all of this possibility, all of this just potential, all of this like at our hands, and we really let fear just like block us, you know. And I know I went so far with the fucking analogy and the head getting smushed because it was crazy, but I say all of that because it's like life really is so miraculous. Like you've already done some really wild ass shit. Like you've already done things that people would never just believe. You know, you're extraordinary. We're literally to be alive is extraordinary. And the only thing that be getting us caught up is having to evolve and shift into something new and different. Something we ain't never seen before, you know? But I think for me, my goal in this season is to do everything I can to to tap into that. And that makes me think about the Aries energy again, you know, and just that energy of not being afraid to go first, not being afraid to charter unseen territory, you know? And I think that's just what this season is. You can call it fear, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's really just uncharted territory. But that's why we got to take in that energy of even the Sag energy, the explorer energy, the willingness to just be on that quest, you know, to seek out, to thinking about 12th house energy, being able to seek out foreign lands. Everybody been talking about how Pluto going in Aquarius is around, like, I think the last time it was like the 1700s. But even how some of the astrology we've been experiencing have taken us back to even like 1400s, like times when people was going out into the world and just exploring and seeing shit they never seen before. And obviously that's not the way they spin the story and the narrative, because it just turned into niggas conquering shit and fucking enslaving people. But it really probably started off, niggas was already doing that stuff. People were just exploring. And I think that energy is in the air. But we just gotta make sure we don't do it the same way. Even with this like passport bro shit. Like people, and when I was in Belize, I kept saying, like, don't be trying to travel if you just want to go be a colonizer. If you're not going to places because you trying to let life, like, open you up to change and being new and to, like, dying and being reborn again, going places and seeing different shit blows your mind. Because it's like, what? What? Like, so much is possible. Like, so much is possible. And that is beautiful. Like, that's beautiful. And I don't know. I personally just feel really, I feel excited for life, and I feel ready to just call in that and everything, especially my relationships, you know? I think people gotta like allow themselves to actually, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Do you believe? Because Venus energy, which rules Libra, is also the energy of value, self value. Okay. You know, and I think a lot of people also get mad that a lot of our value is rooted in our relationships with others. And if not our relationships with others, our relationship to things, our relationship to spirituality, our relationship to ourself, to our material value, our relationship to our houses and our cars and our organizations and all of that. Like, you know, we like who really, you know, even Deepak Chopra and all them people, those motherfuckers, I'm sure they don't just value, hey, you ain't late, you right on time. And I love you too, boo. Those people don't just value like it ain't just them. Like, you know, like it's a relationship to something, even if it's God. Even your relationship to yourself, bro. It's not like that also is a connection that in a lot of ways isn't just you. Because what is yourself? Yourself is your soul, but you have many souls in one body. Yourself is your spirit. Yourself is your body. You know, so like even in that, that's duality. Your relationship to yourself is also your relationship to your masculine and your feminine energy. Your relationship to your mother and your father. You know, we can never escape these things. The real thing is, do you have the courage to actually show up? Do you have the courage to actually like hold yourself? Can you? I've been talking about, because Aries energy, people like to say Aries energy is selfish, okay? Which, okay, I won't say it's not selfish, but I think there's levels to selfish, and I think there's layers to selfish, okay? And I think the way a child is selfish is different than the way an adult is selfish. You know, I think the way a jaded person is selfish is different than the way a person who's going for their passions and who's going for their goals and like all types of shit like that is selfish. There's levels and layers to it. And I feel like when you can actually apply your own, when you can apply that drive that you got for yourself onto other people, that is when you master the balance of the Aries and Libra axis, okay? And that's what this energy is right now. And if you around people who feel intention, or if you even feel intention, it's because most of the times people can't be themselves with other people, which really means you can't be yourself when you by yourself. And I don't think people like to look at it that way. People like to be like, well, I'm cool until other people come around. No, When other people come around, that's the test. That shows you, have the stuff you've been doing alone, is it really working? Have you been doing it? And then most people's response is to, oh my God, okay, now I gotta fucking run from other people and I gotta avoid other people until I can figure it out. But part of the problem might have been because you've been spending too much time with yourself. You might need to avoid yourself for a little bit. You might need to be around some trusted people because you might be a little unclear for real. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I think people, because we're in this hyper independent society and because everybody is so caught up in the past and butthurt on their trauma, I think people don't want to let that be real. They don't want to admit that. They don't want that to be true. They just it's just, and that's what I feel like. And I'm speaking again, this is my energy, Aries Sun, Libra Moon. And this energy gets on my nerves, okay? Not because I think it's a beautiful energy personally, but it's a hard energy to navigate, especially because think about it. Whatever energy you are, when when other people get around you, you represent that energy to them. So if you a Cancer, okay, when you get around people, you gonna pull out their connection to their emotions, to their mother energies, to their connection to their mothers. Like they're just, that's naturally what they just bring out in people. And that's also what like gets heightened in them when they be having issues with people. Let's see, if you around a Leo, and Leos represent like having heart. Leos represent your ability to kind of be able to like, I'm not gonna say perform, but like there's a certain way that a Leo is like going to keep going and going to keep showing up and going to keep whatever. So when you get around a Leo, it's like, and if you ain't doing that stuff, but also the ego, if you got an ego, if you kind of entitled, because Leos can be very just like, they only see, like, it's different. Like I said, there's levels and layers to selfish, because that Leo energy, when it don't see or hear anything outside of itself, it can be real whatever. So when a person gets around a Leo, that energy can be heightened in them. Like, if they don't have a sense of self-confidence, then they're gonna be rubbed the wrong way by the Leo. Cause it's like, or they're gonna get the extra confidence if they are. It's like that's what happens. Like the energies is like magnetism. I find as an Aries is connected to, a lot of people like to say, anger first, which it is, but it's also your instinct. It's your impulse. It's your own belief in yourself. Like and I mean, like, and I know, like, because I think all the fire signs, I think Aries, Leo, and Sag also all represent aspects of your belief in yourself. If Leo is the inner child and Sagittarius is the full expression of that inner child, like just pure joy, then I feel like Aries is like the purity of that inner child, And it's like, think about that inner child energy in society. Like, how do people really respond to like babies? And like, like, just even when you think about terrible twos, that's when people get the most, they don't have extra patience. That's when people get frustrated. That's when people be like, but it's like, think of how a baby is feeling. A baby is like, oh my God, like, I got thoughts, I have will. What the fuck is happening? Like, baby, it's like, I feel like that's a baby's first, like, hormonal, just like, oh my God, like, I'm not in charge, but I am in charge, but what is this? Like, like, just how we respond to those processes tells you a lot about just how we as humans feel about our own, like, that processes in our own, like, just human existence, So, like, I think about stuff like that. So even Libra energy, like Libra is it's about balance, it's fairness. People love to talk shit about Libra energy and hate Libra energy, and it's a lie, but it's like, no, Libra energy really does compromise, even and not just compromise, but Libra energy always bases its energy about the energy of everything around it, you know? And it's like, even if it's a bad situation, like if you got two negative Libras together, that's gonna be they're gonna agree upon that shit, but they're still gonna try to be some type of compromise and just codependency, and like even in me hurting you, I'm still kind of trying to consider you because I can't help it. Like, so but also most people have a hard time really considering each other. Most people have a hard time really like in conflict still seeing both sides. Most people only want to see their sides. So when you think about Libra energy, even how it triggers people or what might be coming up in the currents right now. Just of the because I've been seeing a lot of people, this energy feels uncomfortable for people right now. People don't really know how to feel about it. And I feel like people default to the negatives, and that's where you see a lot of the violence and the anger and crazy shit like that happening in Aries season, or even why it can be connected to, obviously it's connected to Mars, which is connected to Aries, the god of war, and what's the other one? It's another one, but I don't want to say the wrong one right now, you know. But it's like it's also connected to the innocence. It's the first fire, it's the first spark. And it's like I just feel like we as humans take a lot of responsibility off of how we choose to use everything. Like the way people connect to joy, the way people connect to anger, the way people connect to everything. And we especially do that in our fucking relationships. And I don't know, I just keep taking it back to like just have the courage to be something you ain't never been before. Because that's the time we're in right now. It's having the courage to be something you ain't never been before. And not beating yourself up about it. Not like, I don't know. Like even taking it back to little kids. I feel like even when little kids is throwing tantrums and having little heart attacks, it's not because they being hard on themselves. It's because they're really like, I have to feel every ounce of this emotion right now. I just got to let it out. And I feel like as adults, we forget that we're allowed to do that. You don't always gotta have a fucking reason to be sad. You don't always have to like have to know where and why. I think that's another reason people don't like the energy that Aries it can activate, because it's like I don't need to know. I just need to feel, nigga. I just need to get it out. Now now it's later. You caught up on thinking about it, and I felt about it. So now we good. It's like when you need to pass gas. It's like, nigga, I don't talk about it. Like, my stomach is gonna hurt if I hold it in. If I let it out, I'm good. And that's how people are with their emotions. And especially in relationships. Most of us don't know how to be our full selves and show up and speak. And it's not an either or. You gotta do it in both places equally. You gotta do it by yourself and with others. You gotta have the courage, in all parts. And you can't do it halfway. Never. Like, and I'm only saying that because if you do it halfway, you're going to have to keep going back to pick up and clean up. And it's also okay that people, are you missing something? Well, how you be responding to the Aries? How you feel about the Aries energy? Do you got good interactions with the Aries? That really just depends on your energy with them. But also, Aries come around to activate and to initiate change. I personally feel like if you got Aries in your life, like you just like you it's like having a bunch of general energy around you. So I'm like, as long as you like vibing with it, it sounds like it's a good thing. It sounds like it's a lot of newness and a lot of like new beginnings and like cardinal energy that like is ready for you. But I also know you're an Aquarius, so you might have that much energy around you because you need all of that energy to get you out of your fixed perspective. Like you need that energy to help move you and push you because you can get caught up in just like, and that's the one thing about Aries energy. Aries energy, even people be like mad at Aries energy, but if an Aries is mad at you, most time they mad at you because it's like, why are you mad? Like, like nigga, you're blowing my life high, okay? And like, what you mean you ain't fucking motivated? You ain't fucking happy? I feel like most times when Aries is sad, it's really because like, and I'm thinking about myself. A lot of times when I be sad, it really be because like, how do I put this? I mean, sometimes shit is me. Sometimes I be sad because shit don't be working the way I need it to work. But it also be mostly because I know I'm not putting forth the effort. So then it's like I really can't be mad because I probably ain't going hard enough, or I'm probably not whatever, you know. So that's why I would get mad at myself. And I feel like Aries energy projects that on the other people. And people might just think it's like, stop at the, you're mad because it's not going the way you want it. And it's like, no, actually, it's not that it's not going the way I want it. It's because I know something's not happening for it to go the way I want it. And what the fuck do I need to do to make that happen? You know, like, it's like, you know, and I know that can sound like it's the same, but it's not. If you're coming at it from an internal process, it's not the same, because it's like in reality, whatever I need to make the shit happen, even if that involves other people or other things, I don't mind that. But what the fuck is that? You know, like, and then I feel like some people can get caught up in the like the. I mean, Aries rules the head. It literally rules the head. Okay, Libra rules like the lower back, and some people say the skin. What else is Libra rule? It's something else. The booty, something else. Because it's close to my brain. I don't even remember stuff when I need to. Aries rules the head. It's like you think about a ram. Like even that's how rams just. I can't really answer that question. I feel like it's why are little babies so headstrong? I'm I'm a stupid and listen now. What you mean you going? What you mean you stupid and listen now? I don't know what that mean. I don't understand. I feel like that's a good question. Why are Aries so headstrong? I feel like because Aries really do. Here's the hidden thing about Aries, okay? Aries have a really strong intuition, okay? And I feel like a lot of times when Aries are headstrong, it's because they really are trusting themselves. And say I'm gonna shut up and listen now. Yeah, listen. They really do be trusting themselves and they can't go back on it. I feel like that's the difference. Aries and Cancer does the same thing. People don't like to acknowledge that, like, because people only want to acknowledge the way water signs are intuitive or psychic, but people don't like to acknowledge the way the other elements are as well. And Aries and Cancer, they just know. They know, okay? And the way fire is set up, fire gets its energy from the environment, but it also gets its energy from source in a way, you know, in a different way than water connects. So, oh, I'm in the States right now. I'm in the States right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a good run. Anyway, but Aries energy is very intuitive, and people often be like, Aries just do whatever it want, but it's like Aries really goes by it. It's like it gets the message, the energy, the download, the feeling, and it's like I just gotta go with this. And then when people, I feel like if more people supported Aries instead of just questioning or being like, you're moving to this or you're moving to that, that's where I feel like Aries feels the need to be headstrong all the time. And I think the thing people don't get is it's not that like your insight or your wisdom isn't appreciated or like, you know, like you wouldn't keep that faith strong. Just have faith and trust and believe and be smart and it'll work out. Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely say some prayers for you and keep you lifted and safe travels on your journeys, you know? But I feel like the thing people don't get about Aries, even thinking about a baby, like a toddler, I keep taking it back to that because that's that Aries energy. You don't gotta be sorry, child. Don't be apologizing. But people like toddlers, when like if okay, say for instance, a little kid, you give them a cup, and they're like, no, I can do it myself. Like let me do it. You know, like the little kid, and I know they probably don't be talking like that, but just like no, or you know, but you can tell that they just want to do it. You know, that's Aries energy. Aries is like, just let me do it. Let me figure it out. You know, like even if I fuck up, let me fuck up, and don't throw the fuck up in my face. Don't judge me. Don't sit here and be like, you know that ain't gonna work, right? I'd rather you come and fucking support and help and be like, you know what, this nigga crazy, but I'ma just try. And so I feel like that's where some of the headstrong with Aries comes in, because it's like Aries has to spend a lot of time defending his actions. When if you think again, traditionally, what are these energy? Aries is the energy. Aries South Node, you got an Aries South Node. Wow. Aries is the energy that's like, it's the general. Aries don't mind going first. Aries don't mind going out and being like, bro, I'm gonna go see what's out there. I'm gonna go. It's strategy. So even if it feels impulsive, it's like there has to be some impulsivity in improv. If you're looking at it, even in hunting and war, I can know that I'm going out to hunt, and I know that it was some fucking deer in this area and there was some other stuff in this area, but I don't know what's gonna happen when I get out there. I can't plan that shit. Aries is about the principle. It's all about the principle, okay? But it's like I'm gonna show up, you know. When I feel like people don't get that about Aries, people. But also, if you think about what is the root of Aries, what is it connected to? Even you having the Aries and Libra North Node, everything Aries does is for that other side. It's like even when you think about traditional kingdoms, like the armies ain't just don't just exist to just exist. They exist to defend something. They exist for the people. So it's like that's Aries energy. Aries is like, nigga, I was never doing none of this just for me anyway. I was doing this for us. And I think that's most time that's how I be thinking. And I be confused when other people don't get that. And then also confused to realize that other people don't really think like that. Most people ain't thinking like that. Even Libra, like Libra really is out here like considering everybody else. And then Libra realizes, oh, you motherfuckers ain't considering me. And so then Libra be like, fuck y'all. And then that's when everybody be like, Libras are liars and Libras, they switch up. And Libras, oh, you said you don't understand. What's your sun sign? What's your sun sign? And what don't you understand about Libra? Okay, because for me, I need to know more. What don't you understand? Because Libra energy, if you don't understand it, you're resisting it. You don't want to understand it and you don't want to see it. You know? Oh, a Scorpio. Yeah, Aries energy is so like pure energy. You're saying all the right things. A Libra Venus. Okay, yeah. See, that's that thing. You okay? Having it. What? You know, you're rising. I know I'm asking you all your stuff because I want to know what house that North Node is in. I want to know what house that North Node in. But okay, you a Scorpio, so that's why you don't get it. Because you're automatically just avoiding, first off, Scorpios crave intimacy. Like, y'all need connections and relationships way more than Libras do. But y'all got so much, like, so many just, ugh. It's just so, y'all just got a Aries 8th house. Okay. Okay. Y'all got so much just restriction around it. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, child. See? Okay, you get it. But yeah, you got, oh yeah. See, y'all Virgo, right? That's also, yeah, because listen, yeah. Yeah. You're not getting the Libra energy because you're still resistant. I stand on what I said first. You're resisting and you're fighting. And not just resisting and you're fighting. You are so busy trying to control and just like manipulate the way things show up and how it is. Like you gotta be okay with just letting people. It's like you don't know how to, in an all the way healthy way, just like surrender to the relationships. You're still low key trying to control out of kind of fear and out of kind of just like I don't really know if I can trust you to do what you said you're gonna do or be what you said or be like just not really like trusting people or things to like show you people are mean. People are mean, and I'm sure you are loving, but you also probably the thing with that energy is like you probably are loving, but you probably also you how do I put this in a way that I'm sure you're loving, but I feel like yeah, needing to love the right people and also I feel like the people who you need to love, you don't love and the people who probably are hurting you pour into because you're still afraid to truly open up and let yourself be seen. You know, it's easy to say you need to love the right people, but why? Because that Libra energy is a reflection, it's a mirror. And if you're reflecting mean people to you, then it's because you still low key. I'm not gonna say you mean, but there's a part of you that's still hiding and still trying not to really, but you got to open up. And that goes back to even with that Virgo rising, like kind of being okay with if people aren't what you expected. Like the relationships, the connections that you want and seek probably aren't going to be what you expected. The people aren't going to look like what you thought. They're going to look like, they're not going to be what you think, but they're going to be what you need. And if you keep looking at shit either from shallow or rigid ways, you're going to be blocking a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, yeah, you got to stop giving yourself to the wrong people and admit the real reasons why you're doing it. And I think it goes back to that secretly having a fear and secretly, just not really trusting or not really like, like, and then low key being a little codependent. Like, yeah, you do need to love yourself. You do really need to learn how to like love yourself, but without throwing away relationships. You can't go from one extreme to the other. Because, like I've been talking about on this live, like, and what this moon is highlighting is the fact that, like, we have to find balance. We can't just keep going back from these hyper extremes of, like, me, other people. No, we have to find ways to do them together and to feel safe in that. And to not just focus that on, like, sexual relationships, but all relationships and using all relationships as a place to practice that. And, this is a good time for you to do that. You're about to have Pluto in your sixth house, transforming your body, transforming your health, but also pay attention because if you don't allow yourself to really surrender and open up to that, then your health and your body and things like that is going to be a way for God to get your attention and try to like show you stuff, as well as your connections with other people, you know? But I know you didn't ask me to just go in and like read you or point out your chart stuff, but listen, when you leave the country, really let yourself just release who you thought you were. Like, really let yourself just go and, like, get out. Like, yes, your routine is important, your structure is important. You need to be organized, you need to have things, but, like, let yourself just be a little more free and a little more open and a little more, I don't know, like, let yourself like trust your own intensity in the way it shows up in quirky and like beautiful ways, and trust that like people, the right people, are going to actually be able to hold that, because you can't keep showing up. You can't keep showing up and like being too afraid to like let people fully see you. And then one day they fully see you. You don't know what to do, or they don't know what to do, you don't know how to respond to that. So as you're traveling, as you're making and building connections, like, let yourself really open up to just trusting, and trusting your own intuition, trusting your own discernment, trusting your own like balance in relationship to yourself, But yes, obviously, shout out to you. Thank you for commenting. And, I ain't in Belize right now, but I needed to be back in Ohio for a little bit. I needed to be near my mama and near my family and just remember some things. I'm my mother's only daughter and I'm the youngest. And yes, all the love on your journey too. And so there's just things like as me owning my womanhood for myself and stepping into like we're born into families, and that's another thing with this moon because it's like Mars is in Cancer, and so even putting some of that relationship action, like the moon is focusing on relationships, but action, the sign of action is and strategy is in Cancer. Cancer rules family, women, like home, like our ancestors. So focusing that healing of that and the balancing of those relationships on that familial energy too, and so for me also, because again, my birthday was last week, and today happens to be a significant day for me, even just in my journey. But I've been really having to decide who am I going to be in my family, and who I'm an Aries. It's my birthday season. My birthday was on March 30th. Yes, yeah. I told myself I wasn't gonna tell people how old I was anymore. But when I started my international journey, I was mid-20s. I'll say I was mid-20s. Thank you, Sunshine. but we'll say mid 20s. I was late in the game for myself. But I actually didn't even get my passport until literally like 6 months before I left. Either. Ma'am? What? No, I'm gonna still do something with it. Okay. I'm on live right now, mommy. Okay. But because I'm mid 20s. Yeah, that's a good time to do it. Mid 20s is good. And I literally went with $1 in a dream, okay? And just a lot of hope. And I'm still gonna continue. But I was away for like I had been away from home for 5 years. Okay, so even me coming back now, I was never trying to come back right now. This was not in my plans, but it's exactly what was needed. And like I was saying, just going into me stepping into womanhood and really growing up and really choosing the woman that I want to be and realizing that part of that is also me choosing who do I want to be in my family. Who do I want to be like in regards to my little cousins and in regards to my nephews and in regards to like, because that matters. And I think I find with our generation and even with people who are coming up in this younger generation, I find that it's very easy for us to like want to just disconnect from that. And I see the importance in that. And I see, like if we're going to have community for our children and for even if you don't want to have children, for the children of the future, like we have to be the ones like sustaining and like creating that community and holding that community. And so we're not like caring about who we are in relationship to our own families, then how can we care about who we are in relationship to like our community? Past years, what will you say when someone asks you who are you? Like what will you say when someone asks you who are you? And like how much, and that's also the thing. Because the children are the future and we have to start caring more about that. Like especially I identify as a woman. I feel like if you a woman, especially like even if you don't want to have kids, you still should care about kids. You should care about the future of the children. Obviously I think men should too, but I just be like, listen, even with my nephews, I take that so significantly. And I just think it's really, we have just gotten very far away from imagining that and from allowing ourselves to see the importance in imagining that. And so I've been thinking a lot about that and realizing my mom has always told me charity begins at home. And realizing, like, man, if I can't show up for my little cousins, if I can't connect with, you know, my own nephews and like reach out to these, then how I'm gonna do it with the community, and I think for a while, even with the way activism has looked, like it's been very easy for people to be like to be pseudo showing up, to it look like they're doing the work but still having fractured identities and relationships and connection to their own families, and that's something that I think also that this moon is forcing us to have to like face, and just the energy of these times and like who we're having to choose and how we're having to choose to be, you know we need to be thinking about that. Like, exactly. And it's so important, and we can't keep putting that on the children. I think we put so much on young people. And I don't know how it is in other communities, but I just was talking to my mom about it earlier, just how a lot of black parents in these recent generations do put a lot of the work on their kids, even emotional labor. My mom sometimes are just, and I've, having as us navigating our connection as me being an adult, like I've been having to have these types of conversations with her of just like, I can't always do the emotional labor. And also how incorrect it is for adults to expect children, because at one point I was a child doing this. And so just having to, for us to recognize that, like, if we want something different for these young people, then we got to start actually being willing to, like, do some emotional labor for each other. And if we can't do that in our relationships, if we can't do that with ourselves, like it's all necessary. And I think people get so caught up on like which aspect is important or more important. Like, should we be focusing on ourselves, or should we be focusing on other people? No, you need to be doing it in all of those areas all the time. Like, like every week you should have to engage in it with yourself, other people, a young person. Like you should always be having to consider, you know. And I think that's also something that is true to feminine energy, which is, to and I deem masculine and feminine energy as like receptive and like action energy, not necessarily just man woman, but I feel like feminine energy is just programmed to have to consider others outside of themselves more often. And in having to consider, that puts that task on the feminine energy to have to do emotional labor. Okay? And I feel like everybody needs to consider. I speak to a lot of men in my life. I don't know all men, but the men in my life do mention that they like, oh, they don't just move with the thought of considering others. And when they do, it's on some like machismo or some like, I'm a man, I got to protect my family, I got a wife and kids now, versus just like, nigga, you should just consider people. Period. Like you should always be considering people, because we always, we live in a world with each other. Duh. Like that should just be the prerequisite. You know? And I just think about shit like that all the time. They do it selfishly. They do it selfishly, because we allow them to. Because that's the standard people have set. Because we actually just allow. And I think, but we can't go from one extreme to another. And that's also the thing about Libra energy. It's balance. It's ma'at. It's the scales. It's like you don't just go from one extreme to the other. So like even women just being like, I'm not doing emotional labor for nobody. It's like, okay, all right now. That's a little extreme, at least for the children. Do it for the children. Okay, you say fuck these niggas, but don't say fuck these kids. Okay, that ain't fair. That is not fair. You were a child. Everybody was a child once, and everybody gonna be old once. So for that regard, we should always honor fucking young people and old people, because that's something everybody gonna have to experience. Women should personally just always honor women because you're a woman. Men should always honor men. Humans should always honor humans because they're human. But it's like if we can't just, I think in our society, just honoring children and old people and really decolonizing the way we engage with those aspects of our own human experience, I think that would really shift a lot for us. And I think a lot of that goes back to our families and to our communities and to those we choose to like pour into and partake with. And I just feel like if you can't stand up in your community or with the people you consider family or community, where are you gonna stand up then? You know, and if you don't see it as important to do that, and if you got communities where y'all don't encourage each other to do that, that's also a problem. Like that's also a problem. So it all goes back to the courage. Like I said, Aries energy represents audacity, okay? Courage. The ability to just be like, hey, that's all fire energy. And even fucking Libra, that's the thing. People, air signs do it in a different way, but they gonna communicate. They some way or another, okay? It's gonna happen. Even the one sign that's like most people, or the energies that's most known to ghost people, is air signs. But that's a form of fucking communication. Not saying shit. It's fucking communicating. It's loud as hell. Like so. I'm like those signs are always gonna like manage to get. So having this energy of like Aries and Libra in the sky, it's like it's just and not even taking it to that, just I like I said, I feel like it's the times, looking at everything that's happening in the world right now, the shift that's happening with the air signs do talk very much, every one of them. Okay, the Gemini, the Aries, I mean the Gemini, the Libra, and the Aquarius. Even Aquarius, if Aquarius don't really know you like that, they ain't gonna. But Aquarius, once they know you, they'll talk to you, and they got a lot to say. Okay, but and it's gonna be on some other shit though. It ain't never just some like And it's always going to get back to like, I know Aquarius who ain't never even did no community service, no nothing. And they just be at home trying to figure out just like, how can I do something in the world even if I never get off the couch and do this? How can I just impact and change the world? I just be like, damn, Aquarius. Well, I got that rising sign, but I just be like, man, And then the Libra energy. See, if people like to equate Gemini energy with gossip, and like I feel like Gemini energy is information. Gemini talk about whatever, but Libra energy wants to talk about the specifics. Okay, Libra energy is like, let's talk about the art, and let's talk about the beauty, and let's talk about the aesthetic of things. Let's talk about the way things, but they all coming at it their own different way. That's why I feel like a lot of Libras can also be mistaken for shallow, but they ain't necessarily shallow. They're just like niched. They're like, I like what I like. I see what I see. Okay. And like, that's it, and then squirrel, bitch, like a little bit. But at least that's my take, my perspective, you know. But I feel like this is the type of energy where you don't want to be holding back. Don't. This is not the time to hold back. Okay, this is not the time to hold back. This is the time to say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say what you need to say. This is time to express yourself. Okay, I almost sung that song too. I did. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. This is the time to express yourself, okay? To actually get clear and to like to not be afraid to cause to just hey, we here. And I don't just mean with other people, even with yourself, even with God. This is just the time for that. This is just the time. It's just the time. I want to make sure my phone's not about to die. Is my phone about to die? Hey, y'all, plug me. Tell your friends if they want some birth chart readings or some shit like that. Or some holistic wellness services. I don't be knowing how to plug myself. But I'm a real one. I can get your life together, okay? I can get your life. I can get your life. Okay, I got an Aquarius in here. What are you, Gosetti? What are you? Who else? What signs we got in here right now? What's the energies we got in the room? Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns? I said I was giving out free advice. Anybody need some advice? Y'all got some relationship trauma or drama? I'm thinking about a vertigo. A vertigo. I like Virgos. I like Virgos. Okay. Y'all funny, but I like y'all. Y'all real funny. Virgos be trying to act like they don't like Aries, but I feel like that's because Aries can see Virgo. And Virgo just be like trying to discredit Aries so that it can distract other people from also seeing that Aries can see Virgo. And it be working. It be working. Even think about it. When you think about the greats, I know y'all can hear me, but I'm getting this plug. So when you think about the greats in history, love you, cuz. Good night. Buenas noches and gracias for pouring into your girl. I definitely appreciate it. Listen, see, Aries. Listen, because Aries be like, wait a minute, bro. I see what you doing. And Virgo be trying to act like they don't. Also, I think Aries is the only one who could see Virgo for real. Like, and I mean, even on the like, but Virgo do it in a different way. Because even let's think about singers, okay? Like Michael Jackson, Virgo. Beyonce, Virgo. These are two singers who like made their way to being the best because they worked really hard at it. That's Virgo energy. Virgo works really hard, and it's okay with paying attention to the detail and being the most whatever. Then you think about singers who just are the best and didn't have to work hard. They're just the best. Aretha Franklin, Aries. Okay. Shaka Khan, Aries. Okay. Okay, people, Luther Vandross was born on the day that fucking Aries and Taurus. It's the last day and the first day at the same time, so I always like, whatever, okay? But even just those two examples, those two people, legends, okay? Don't nobody care about Aretha Franklin's dancing. Her voice, though, nobody would ever question that, like, wow, she's got it, you know? No, they did work hard. I would never say they didn't work hard, but like a Michael Jackson show compared to a Aretha Franklin show, that's two different. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, even Beyonce, like, who is other? Even Virgos do the most, bro. Tyler Perry is a Virgo. Like, Virgos will really just where it's not the same. I'm not saying that Shaka Khan and them didn't work hard, but it's just a different. People know Shaka for her voice. People know Aretha for her voice. Like, people know these people for their voices, not because they're fucking the greatest performers. They know them because it's just raw talent. They're the best because they just the best. Like, it's like, whereas Virgos are the best because they did the most. And like, but they also make doing the most, they make everybody want to do the most. But even when you think about like our culture, even this culture people are trying to lean into right now, of like trying to rest more. But that Virgo energy is the energy of like, nah, nigga, you gotta work. Fucking Beyonce, check my technique. She's like, hello. No, you can't just show up, nigga. You gotta show up. You gotta be perfect. Gotta be this. Gotta be that. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't mean to go in with I like both the signs, okay? Like I said, I love Virgos because I feel like you put a Virgo and an Aries together, baby, we can get it all done, okay? It'll be fun, okay? Cause a little drama, okay? Set some shit off. Listen, you feel me? People do be trying to take the easy way out. But I'm like, let's go. I love the energies together. I'm here for it. Okay? Because the thing about me, my South Node is in my sixth house. Okay? So I be out here like Virgo tendencies. Okay? Virgo tendencies to the max. Okay? And so I be having it in myself. Even in, I don't know if y'all familiar with sidereal astrology. In sidereal astrology, I actually have a Virgo moon instead of a Libra moon. In sidereal astrology, right now they consider it a Libra moon and not a Virgo moon. But I don't feel like connecting to all of that. So listen, the Virgo tendencies, crazy. But it's just funny. I just feel like society is, we need to find a balance with all of that. Even why there's really no Virgo energy in the sky right now. People got to get okay with just having to have just that raw, pure energy and know how to hold that shit. Know how to hold that shit. How y'all feeling about, how do I feel with my sun opposing my moon? Annoyed. All the time. Hey, thank you, Go Sadie. Sadie, thank you. No, for real, thank you. Okay, so here's the thing. And I think it's my energies too, because that Aries energy be like, it's my world. Go hard or go home. Like, it's quiche. But then the Libra energy be like, wait, consider other people. Well, how do you think that's gonna make them feel? And so for me, when I'm in a healthy space, I love it because it provides balance. I feel like when you can master the opposition, it just makes you a very balanced person. I feel like it takes the intensity, the impulsiveness of my Aries and levels it out. And then the aspect of my Libra that could possibly want to get too caught up in like other people, I still am an Aries at heart. So I still am like, okay, go away. I need my independence. I can do it myself, like, but be close, like, exactly. Aries is my ego. So the ego be like, nah. And it's an exalted sun too, so my ego. But then the Libra moon come in and be like, now, wait a minute, think about other. So I think for me personally, it'd be okay. It's taking me a lot of time though to like find middle ground. If I'm leaning too much on one, it can get real. Whew. Okay, so but I find oppositions leave the most space for growth, for real. People be afraid of squares and oppositions, but that's where you can find the real space of like, can you grow, can you sustain some shit. But that energy for me is very, yeah, I ain't mad at it. But the full moon part too. That part, I'm just intense as fuck, okay? And I don't always make sense. like not in the moment. To others, the bigger picture makes sense, but it is a definitely intense energy. Even when I think about in the sidereal chart, so I look at sidereal energy as the energy of yourself. A lot of people don't think I'm an Aries, like, which is why for moving forward, I'm trying to my hardest to go hard as an Aries. I don't want nobody to be mistaken. I don't want nobody to be out here confused. I'm like, most people are like, oh, I thought you were a water sign. But in sidereal astrology, I'm a Pisces. Okay, a Pisces with a Virgo moon. And so I also, either way, and that opposition is even more interesting because there's a part of me that's so just like dreamy and I want to be free and I just want to be free. But then the other part is like everything needs to be just, especially when it comes to other people. I'm like, sometimes I just can't help but to find out all the things that's wrong with everything. And it's just like, oh my God, bro, chill, relax. And that is a different, that's just the, but that also goes with my North Node, South Node angle, because that 6th house, 12th house axis. And so for me, it do just be a lot of balance. I live in the opposition. Come join me. You had what? You said Scorpio sun. Did you say you had a Virgo moon? And you got Virgo rising too? And your moon is in your first house? And then you got all that Libra? That sounds fun. That sounds real fun. I mean, yeah, you need to relax. Relax. Okay? Relax. Just chill. Find you a Pisces. Don't judge them and just try to act like that Pisces. Just float away. Forget it, okay? Don't float like a Libra. Float like a Pisces. Just find you some okay? For real. Are you married? That's what I wanted to ask y'all. What's up with relationships? How y'all feeling about relationships? What's going on? Because having a Libra North Node, it's in your destiny to have contracts and partnerships. So what that look like for you? Do you have any? I'm waiting for an answer. And also everybody else too. What's going on with y'all's relationships? I want to start talking about, not in a weird way, not like these niggas with the podcast, but I got a Libra moon, so I gotta leave. What? Ooh, oh my what? What, cousin? What? Tell me. Cause I wanna know. I want to know. Even business partnerships in general, collaborations are good for you. Like, you need to be out here with the contracts. You also can definitely, the tea is piping. I don't even want to say it on the live. Damn, y'all. It was almost good, y'all. Ooh. Okay, well, we wish you the best, cousin. Okay. Steady single. I'm about to give you Steady. When I say your name, it make me think about Levita on the Steve Harvey show. Steady. I just want to be like, hey, Steady. you like snacks and shit, Steady. How you like your sandwiches? I just wanna. Dang, son, though. I'm sorry you ain't about to give us the tea. Okay, Steady, why you single? You single on purpose? You single on choice? Son, is there any way that you can like give us something? Anything? I needs to know. I want to see how people. Okay, relationships are a huge part of your life. Okay. Listen, I bet you did. Because that's literally the first thing I thought. Like, that's the first thing I thought. I was just like, that's what I want to call this nigga. Listen. Oh, I called you a nigga. I'm sorry if you don't like to be called nigga. Ask a question, I'll answer. Okay, first off, are you practicing multiple relationships right now? Are you polymath? I know that's not the term. I know that's not the word. You're okay, you haven't been looking. All right. Okay, then Seti. And Seti's a Virgo. That's a very Virgo answer. I bet you haven't, Seti. I bet you haven't. How old are you, Seti? Why you haven't been looking? You ain't interested though? I'm like, why not though? Everybody wants some love, don't they? You be out here having you be romancing though, you be dating, or you just like, how single are you? You like single but date a little bit, or I'm just getting in y'all's business tonight. Y'all ain't asking me no questions, so I'm asking y'all questions. I wanted to know if Sun was poly, and I wanted to know if Sun. What else did I want to know? I feel like you got some type of multiple people situations happening. I feel like what I'm feeling, I'm just feeling some multiples, okay? I'm feeling like somebody been on you. It's spicy. I'm just feeling like it's spicy. I'm just feeling like it's spicy. Mm-hmm. We won't know though. I think I've been on here for an hour and 30 minutes. Many people are, I knew it. I knew it, bro. I knew it, bro. I'm like, it's spicy, bro. And you I'm like, I knew it, bro. I'm like, it's spicy as fuck. I can feel it, bro. And Seti 28, Seti, you in that Saturn return, baby. You Saturn's child right now, okay? Girl, super duper spice. Ooh, I'ma have to. Is we friends or something? Cause now I really do want the tea, especially because I know your chart, and cause I'm piecing it together in my energetic field. I'm like, I'm feeling it, but it's like, it's something to it that I'm like, I need you to confirm for me. So, what's it giving for 28? Both of y'all 28? Okay, first off, y'all both 28 and y'all in y'all Saturn return. So, here's the thing what people don't realize about Saturn return and dating in the Saturn return. Snap, y'all. I ain't got no snap. Oh my God, no. I got Instagram. I got, you can email me. Email me at the Genesis Cleanse. Email me at the Genesis Cleanse at gmail.com. The Genesis Cleanse at gmail.com. I want the tea that much. I'm like, and we could talk about it because I'm definitely like, it's the Libra energy. Let's talk about relationships. But okay, so your Saturn return starts from like 27. People say 30, but Saturn typically can be in that sign until like you like 31. Like my Saturn didn't leave my sign, you know. So, your Saturn return is that period of time. Listen, if you don't got Instagram or Facebook Messenger, you gonna have to email me, child. But during that time, Saturn is the planet that rules time. Saturn rules karma. Saturn brings in structure. Saturn rules discipline. Saturn rules your career, your image, your legacy. So Saturn, it takes Saturn 30 years to go around all the signs to complete that cycle around the sun. And so during the time that Saturn goes back to your sign is your Saturn return. Now you heard of like the 27 club. When people start their Saturn return, shit can happen. And normally what I've noticed is the more you are in attunement with your soul and more you are in alignment with your past, your path, not your past. The more you're in alignment with your path, that determines how your Saturn return is going to go and show up, okay? And so if you out here just all the way off the fucking path, then it's gonna be a little more rocky, you know. And sometimes if you're not like leaning into what your soul, your spirit needs for you, then Saturn has to do things to like get your attention, okay? And so the 27 club, a lot of people, you know, even with the artists who die, that actually is coinciding with the time of your Saturn return beginning. So it can be an intense time. For some people, they get married. For some people, they have kids. For some people, they lose people. For some people, they die. Like, you know, it's a significant time in maturing. So you have your Saturn return, and then it takes from about 34 to 30, well, it takes until about 36 for your Saturn to become fully mature. That's why I'd be like, you're a literal child until you like get into 30s, okay? Like, I don't think anybody is an adult until they pass their Saturn return. Once you pass your Saturn return, then you can be like, okay, I'm an adult. And I mean literally like I'm an adult. Not like I know it all, but like I'm just now a grown up. Like, okay. And I feel like if we thought like that and just slowed down and humbled ourselves and didn't rush to like just be grown or to be ahead already, we and appreciate the process more, then take a lot of pressure off of us. Like feeling like you gotta have your whole life figured together, even at 25 is crazy. It's like you really kinda ain't even comfortable with admitting who you are until you like 30. You just now get comfortable at 30 being like, all right, this is me. I'm pretty sure this is me. And even then it's like I'm pretty sure. I know this shit's still going whatever, but I think I got the gist. So it's like just the pressure. But when you turn during that time, 27 to like we'll say 30, 31, that's your Saturn return, okay? And right now, for the people in that age group, your Saturn is in Pisces, okay? And so Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac, is connected to the energy traditionally of Jupiter and more modernly the planet Neptune. Okay, either way, Pisces rules the collective subconscious. In some ways, I'm not gonna say the unconscious, but Pisces is like that out there energy, that energy of the unknown. Like when you get to completion, when you get to the dream realm, to the other realm. Like Pisces is like the depth, like the collective ancestors, not just your personal ancestors. Like just the realm of it rules like dreams and imaginations and like fantasy, but also like mental illness and like the things that just we kind of don't get. So, but Pisces is also about spirituality and surrendering to something higher than yourself. So, people who are in their Saturn return right now are people who are having being first off, your Saturn return is like you being brought back home to yourself. But people with Saturn and Pisces are being brought back home to their spirit, to their connection to spirit, to having a spiritual understanding and perspective and outlook. And if you don't, having to ask yourself, what the fuck does that mean? To also having to have faith and to like either decide if you're going to like surrender to believing in like possibility or leaning into fear. Like really that energy of like whatever you imagine is what can be created, but what do you have the courage to create? And like when you think about imagination, even what I was saying with the Aries energy, thinking about your inner child, like you have to be connected to your own innocence to really be able to allow your imagination to fuel itself and to really thrive. And so this Saturn and Pisces is really making us have to like restructure and redefine our own connection to like faith and spirit and imagination and our ability to dream and our ability to surrender and our ability to open up to like compassion and just this collective energy of like there's something bigger than me. Like, and I don't know. It's such a beautiful and dreamy energy, and there's so many ways to like. But during your Saturn return, like I said, those types of energies are going to be like challenged and brought up. And even I know Seti was, hey, live long, laugh, welcome. Yes, I'm grateful. Thank you for being here. But this time for everybody is being called to like I feel like even with the internet, people are so stuck on like fact and like this is this and like being practical, but being practical to our own demise, like using fact and these things to like harm ourselves and to trap ourselves and to isolate ourselves. And it's like actually being willing to have like some faith in something bigger and outside of yourself and to trust. And like when you do have that space to dream and create, what are you choosing to lean into? It's so easy right now to look at the world and be like, it's a shit show. Like this about to be just war and everything is bad and inflation and this and that. But it's also like this is the prime time for us to really imagine something different, to do something different, to believe in something like bigger and to really come together in that. It's all about perspective. It's like, do you want your dreams to come true? Or are you just, and the fact that there's so much Aries in the sky along with this Pisces energy. While Saturn is going to be in Pisces, there's always going to be a planet in Aries. So it's like, it's not just about dreaming, but it's about having the courage to act on it, having the courage to be a spiritual warrior for something bigger than yourself, for something that not, and I don't want to say bigger than yourself, but for something that you didn't just come up with. Because that Virgo energy is very practical, and like I can trace where I got this from. I have the facts. I can like pull up where I got this from and like show you. You know, like Virgo energy to me is like having like a fucking, like, what is that shit? I'm so far from college, and you know when you got to reference and do the cite your shit, okay? But Pisces energy is like, nigga, God told me this. God showed me this. Like, and really believing in that shit. And I feel like we are in a place as a culture where we've lost that. I be bringing this up a lot. Like when I was younger, I grew up in a Christian household. We knew not to believe in Santa Claus because it didn't align with the Bible, but we still also, my mom let me believe in Santa Claus for as long as she could. And like people around played along. My nephews and them, they don't get Easter egg hunts and shit like that no more. And I get it. I get people are being like, things are pagan and this ain't even whatever. But there's something about us doing that stuff that fed imagination. We don't collectively feed our imaginations anymore. Like we're so just like disconnected from that. And I think this is a time where we can like shift that before it gets too ahead. Like we can shift that before that becomes just who we are. And it's going to require the people with Saturn and Pisces to really have the courage to stand up for that. To stand up for that, you know, in all aspects of our lives. Like for instance, Sis had, what she had, the Virgo rising. So you got Pisces in the seventh house. So Saturn is going to be bringing and restructuring how you imagine relationships, how you connect to relationships, how you show up in relationships, but also your ability to like have more faith in people's actual potential, not the delusion aspect of it, because having a negative like energy with Pisces in your seventh house can make you delusional around relationships, but actually believing in the spirit of relationships and using spirituality as a way to connect to your relationship. So not having shallow connections, but like only being in relationship with people who help you connect to your imagination, who help you be able to hold space for God in your life or for however that stuff shows up. Even if it's not, we do it the same way, but just being around, you know, energies that encourage that, you know. So Saturn is going to be restructuring how you connect to relationships, how you build relationships, what your relationships are rooted in, you know. But also during your Saturn return, I think I was saying this earlier, but I didn't finish it. Relationships in the Saturn return can be a gift or a curse. Like when you meet people during your Saturn return, you're either meeting people who are aligned with your higher self or aligned with your lower self. And how you choose to engage is going to be what you get. I think there are some people who can come in your Saturn return that are literally like tools on the journey, or literally like, you know, like you could have, like for instance, somebody could even having a Saturn in your seventh house. That marriage, like marriage could be, that was also a thing. Son, if you still in here, I was gonna say, I feel like it's multiple people. I feel like somebody wants to marry you, or you're trying to marry somebody, but it's also just having to get real. Yeah. But I feel like that's something for a person with that energy in their seventh house, though. Getting married during this time could be a tool, because Saturn is also, again, your legacy. It's your career. It's your image. So it's like this could be setting you up for the next 30 years of your life. You know, so like for you, something like that could be a gift, you know. So, but sometimes you can have people that come in during your Saturn return to reflect your karmic energy back to you, because you in that lower nature, because you in your lower self, you know. So you have karmic relationships that'll keep coming until you can really break the pattern. You can really like cut that cord, you know. But if you already doing your work, if you already grounded in who you need to be, then Saturn's going to bring you gifts, because that's also the thing. Saturn likes to bring rewards. Saturn's just like, I'm not bringing no rewards to no shit show. You can't cut no corners. You can't be skipping shit. And I feel like this Saturn, a lot of people be afraid of it, but I feel like this Saturn could really like bring people their highest dreams if people just have the courage to fucking like not only believe in that shit but show up. That's the thing about Aries, that Aries energy. That's the spiritual warrior. You know, having the courage to really show up. What the fuck, to be a warrior. you know? And I feel like we have to be spiritual warriors again. We have to be warriors for something bigger than us again. And I think this Saturn is really going to be calling that out in people, you know? Yes, very much. Source asked me how I like to spend. Exactly. Listen, son, you running. What you running? Who? I don't even. We email me. But okay, say for instance, okay, say you got Pisces in your um 11th house, okay? So Pisces in the 11th house. The 11th house, what does that make somebody? I should have thought about this with the rising sign. I'm gonna have to go back and do all of whatever, but I don't feel like it. Wait, Pisces, Aries, Taurus rising. Okay, so you got a Taurus rising. Okay, um, so say you got Pisces in your 11th house. What is the 11th house? The 11th house rules hopes, wishes, dreams, okay? But it also rules your network, it rules your friendship and your friend circle, okay? So if you got Saturn coming into Pisces in your 11th house, Saturn is going to be bringing a restructuring to how you connect to your own hopes and wishes, to your friend circle, to the networks and the organizations you're in, but also making also Pisces, that Pisces Virgo axis is all about service again, but different in the Aquarius way, because Aquarius is like being in the service to humanity, and and Pisces is about being in service to like what God has, or the higher, like not just even what humanity wants. So if you think about that in the 11th house, it's like, are my networks serving me? Are my friendships rooted in like something real, or like, do are my friendships a place of like escape for me, because that Pisces energy could be an escape, so it's like just having to restructure and really ask yourself, like, am I being present? Because that Pisces energy also rules, like, drugs, alcohol, rules all of that shit. So like allowing yourself to be sober in spirit, but to like find the, I guess, the highness in being sober in spirit. Like, which I know that in itself sounds like that's a tongue twister. I'm a little famished. I need to eat my food. It's 10 o'clock. I'm still on here with y'all. Y'all getting what I'm saying though? This Pisces, so if you're in your Saturn return, if you in that age, take this next from 27 to say 31. Take that time as a time to really get to know yourself and to really be honest about yourself and to really be open and clear to the signs and the symbols and the synchronicities and what God is showing you, what God is asking of you, and realizing that like you really can have the life of your dreams, but you also, part of having that life of your dreams is going to be out of a sacrifice. And it's not the traditional way we know sacrifice. It's not martyrdom, but it's like having to recognize that it's bigger than you and it's outside of you. And it's going to be some of it that don't got shit to do with you. And you didn't imagine it, but God imagined it for you. Like, are you willing to be who God imagined you to be? And like actually having the courage to ask yourself, like, what does that look like? And how far away from that am I? And like, and what do I need to be and sacrifice or whatever? You get what I'm saying. Y'all get what I'm saying to y'all. But it's a real beautiful time. And to actually let your relationships reflect that. Because if Libra energy is fucking relationships, Venus, which rules relationships and connections, is exalted. When it's exalted, when a planet when a planet is exalted in a sign, or a sign is exalted in a planet, that means that it like thrives there. It just loves that. So Venus is exalted in Pisces. And to me, that is like Pisces is that Venus and Pisces is that like unconditional love. That not just unconditional love, but that divine love. That truly divine love. And so even in this time, just like recognizing that, like, man, that type of love, oh, the moon looks beautiful right now. That type of love, that type of energy, it's gonna come with some shit, when it's coming from God, and not negative shit, but it's gonna come with purpose. It's gonna come with responsibility. It's gonna come with commitment. Because what's on the other side of Pisces? Virgo, okay? So it's like it's gonna come with order. It's gonna come with some like, nah, this is what we said we was doing, so this is what we doing. You gotta commit. Think about those Virgos we brought up earlier, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, all this Virgo energy that we know for just doing the most, for working even when they probably don't need to work, and for paying attention to details that niggas didn't even want to pay attention to. You know, it's like, so yeah, like, you know, y'all know what I'm saying. I don't want to, because I'll just keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going, you know, but I really just got on here to share, and y'all been fueling me though, so I just keep talking. I ain't mad at it. I'm grateful for it. I got this food I want to eat. Can I just eat it in front of y'all? Should I just eat it in front of y'all, or should I just get off? What do we do? What do we do? I'm not a mukbanger, but also for some reason people be thinking I'm like vegan and all of this stuff, which I'm a plant-based meat eater. I don't eat meat all the time, but I do eat meat sometimes. I've been vegan. I done 30-day water fast. I done did it all, okay? I got me some oxtails, child, some rice and peas, all right, and some plantain. because because that's what I felt like today. Today, like I said, today wasn't a sad day for me, but today it's my dad's death anniversary. So, and I've been doing, even leading up to my birthday, I've been doing no bread, no sugar, well, no white sugar. I've been still using honey. No processed food, so not even eating like gluten-free breads or none of that shit. But for my birthday, I decided to let myself have a little sugar. Um, but I got like some gluten-free treats. And then today, I was doing okay. I had got me a couple of gluten-free treats, and I had ate those things. But then today, I woke up, and like I said, it's my dad's death anniversary, and also it's a lot of planets and Taurus in the sky. And I was just like, I need something sweet. I need comfort foods. I need, I need some cuddles. I don't have nobody to cuddle, so somebody come cuddle me. I need the cuddles. I want to cuddle me and eat rice and peas. You don't want the rice and peas? No, I probably should just get off of here though. But I really do love y'all. This live was great. I'm supposed to go live every Thursday. Okay. If you liked anything I was saying, if you've enjoyed any of this, I wrote this on here. TheHoodAlchemist.com. Okay. I do wellness consultations, doula services, all types of things. Okay. Birth chart readings. Okay. She's in there. Okay. But this was great. I really do love y'all. I hope this full moon energy just brings you everything you need, you know. And we'll be back, okay? We got vlogs dropping, okay? I'm keeping y'all updated. We out here, but this is great. And I'll see y'all next time. And we out. Yeah, 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 yeah.